Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jaclyn and this is Makeup Tales, where each week while I do my makeup, I narrate a scary story. If you guys like scary stories and are interested in makeup, I suggest that you subscribe, comment, and like. And don't forget to ring that bell. That way you know when I post a video each week. This week, I am very excited because guess what? There's a new chair. I finally have a proper computer chair. Now my back won't hurt anymore. Also, got my first dose of the vaccine today. Very excited. So, to continue, today's content is the continuation of Be Careful When Adopting by Reddit user DarkMindAngelEyes. And this is chapter 4. If it wasn't my sister that died in my bathtub, then who or what was it? Why did it look just like my sister? If that wasn't her, then where the hell is she? I have so many questions left unanswered. The whole situation is turning from weird to weirder. It hasn't even been 24 hours since I thought I found my sister dead in my bathtub. Hell, I was covered in whatever that thing is. Blood. I held it close to me, thinking it was my own flesh and blood sister. I cried as I held it. That thing's blood soaked my clothes. The thought of it made my skin crawl. What can look and smell just like someone else? When did it take her? I wasn't even sure if I had talked to my sister at all that night or if it was something else the whole time. Now, she's alive, but missing, or at least I hope. At least if she's just missing, we have a chance of finding her. So many extreme emotions running through my body all at once. I couldn't keep my mind straight, bouncing from one thought to another. I didn't even know where to begin or what I could even do. All I knew was two things. I had to find my sister. Alive or dead, I needed to find her. I needed my questions answered. I also knew that no matter what, I had to keep my family safe. John walked outside, leaving the back double doors open so he could hear our son. I lit another cigarette, trying to calm myself down. I needed to be able to gather my thoughts. Staring off into space, lost in my own head and trapped inside my thoughts, wasn't going to do anyone any good. Images of the night before began flashing. They were in my mind. Pictures of the bloody bathroom filled my mind. I could still feel the blood all over my arms and my clothes. The hair on my arms stood straight up as I shook my head, trying to get rid of the images inside my head. John walked over to me, bending down to hug my head. "Baby, are you okay?" he softly asked as he held my head to his chest. I don't know right now. I'm confused and scared. I don't know what to do at this point or what I can do. My voice slightly giving away as a tear ran down my soft cheek. What did the examiner say? He said as he pulled away to look into my eyes. It wasn't her. They don't know what that thing is they pulled out of our bathtub, but it wasn't my sister. It wasn't even human. I couldn't control my voice as I said it. John, I don't know what or who it was, but it wasn't my sister. Whatever I was holding wasn't even human. I looked down at the ground as I took a long drag from my cigarette. Part of me felt ashamed for not knowing that it wasn't actually my sister. John tilted his head and raised his left eyebrow as he looked at me. Almost like he was thinking in his head that this woman he married is losing her mind. We had been married for so long, and he had never seen me this way. I'm not even sure if he had ever seen me scared before. I'm not one that scares easily, not even jump scares. I've gone through tons and tons of haunted houses, have watched the scariest horror movies in the middle of the night with the lights off. This is more terrifying than anything I have ever seen before. My heart was racing just at the thought of the night before. I picked my phone up from the grass to walk back inside. I was trying to figure out how in the world I was going to explain this to our family, especially being I just told them last night that my sister was dead. That I held her bloody, lifeless body. How do you explain that to someone? Oh, hey, yeah, you remember how I told you my sister tragically took her own life in my bathtub while babysitting my son? Yeah, it was a joke, but no one knows where she is or how to even find her. But I'm sure it will be okay. Yeah, right, I'm sure that would go over just great. For now, I guess it's just John and I figuring this out as we go. John and I walked back into the house and sat down on the couch. I started searching supernatural things on my phone. I figured it was as good of a start as anything at this point. John flipped through channels on the TV while I searched through articles on my phone. Everything from Bigfoot to demons popped up. The most terrifying things came up. Things that nightmares are made of. Things you don't want to ever know are real. Nothing fit except for one. It didn't have a name though, other than it was a type of demon. This particular demon could change shape, their smell, and their true voice. Basically, they could change everything about themselves just to copy whoever they want. Their normal appearance is basically a shadow with bright, beady eyes and long, sharp talons for fingers. They eat the hearts of their victims. However, they can only hold the appearance of a human, for a short while, and only if the human they were mocking wasn't close by. The only time they can keep the appearance of a human is if they died while in the human's form. They also like to keep the person they are imitating and torture them until they were no longer useful to the demon anymore. There's only a few articles about the demon, though. Apparently, most people that come in contact with one don't survive. Those that have survived it said other demons follow them the rest of their lives. However, with it being dead, all I had to do was find where it put my sister. That also meant there wasn't a chance I would find her alive, if I did find her. However, there was one article I came across that stuck out to me. A woman in her early 20s had been held captive and tortured by one. After a week of it hiding her, she finally escaped. I found the woman's name in the article. I needed to find her to hear her whole story. Maybe, just maybe, it could help me find my sister. Chapter 5. I started making notes in my phone from the articles I did find. I was able to find where the woman is now. Unfortunately, she's in a mental hospital. Luckily, it was only an hour's drive. I told John my plan was to go to the hospital to try to talk to the woman. He agreed, and we both thought it would be for the best for him to stay home with our son. We wanted to keep him out of it as much as possible. I changed clothes, then quickly grabbed everything I thought I would need, throwing everything into an oversized purse I had for road trips. I kissed my husband and son, promising to be home before dinner. After an hour of driving, I finally pulled up to the hospital. It was an old, run-down building with moss-filled trees lining the driveway. The hospital looked like it was something out of a horror movie. It was tall, at least 7 stories tall. It was dark and gloomy, with the feeling that something was going to jump out at any moment to drag me away into the darkness, never to be seen or heard from again. The cloudy sky only made it look even creepier. It began to rain as I parked my car. I walked into the hospital, the thick doors loudly slamming closed behind me as I walked in. The walls were a dingy shade of yellow, while pieces of the ceiling had fallen to the floor. But it seemed no one cared enough to even clean it up. A long, low-lit hallway led to a small front desk. As I walked to the desk, I noticed a small silver bell sitting there with a note saying to ring the bell and someone would come to help. I tapped the bell, causing it to ring much louder than I thought it would. Standing there, waiting by the desk, waiting for someone to come down one of the other halls, I felt a tap on my shoulder followed by a voice. "How can I help you?" the voice said. I turned around to see an older woman standing behind me. Her long white hair was pulled up into a tight bun. She was wearing a nurse's outfit that looked like it was from the 50s. The white outfit caused her emerald eyes to pop. "Yes, ma'am. I was wondering if I could speak with Miss Sutton," I said with a smile on my face. "Well, being she's having a good day and doesn't get many visitors, I guess you can." She had a worried look on her face, like she was debating if it was really a good idea or not. She motioned for me to follow her. We talked down another extremely long hallway. It was in more of a disarray than the first hallway was. Colors and broken toys filled the sides of the floor. The walls were a pea puke green with writing all over them. The hallway looked like it was meant for a children's ward, but there was no laughter. All the doors were closed, so you couldn't see inside them. It was like something from a horror movie where you expect a child to pop out, but no one did. The silent hallway was more terrifying than any horror movie I had ever seen, and the fact that nothing happened made it even scarier. The anticipation made it even more horrifying. The hallway led to an old elevator. Stepping inside, it sent my anxiety into overdrive. It shook and rattled the whole way, finally letting us off at the top floor, which for the most part looked about the same. The same nasty green colored walls. Instead of toys and crayons covering the floor, it was bits and pieces of ceiling. I could feel some small pieces of it falling onto my shoulder as we walked to a door. Standing there waiting for her to open the door. I have to ask, if you have any sharp objects on you, please leave them outside the door. Her hand reaching for the doorknob, I wasn't sure what I'd find inside the room. I had never been inside a mental hospital, but this place definitely wasn't what I was expecting. She held the doorknob with one hand, and she placed the key inside the keyhole with another, jiggling it open as she pushed on the door. "I'll be back in an hour to get you," she said with a pleasant smile. I walked inside the room. The nurse slammed the door shut behind me, making a loud bang as it closed. I could hear her locking the door before walking away. I looked down at my phone. It was 1 p.m. Wow. I had already been here longer than I thought, being it was just before noon when I pulled into the driveway. I saw the woman that was now in her mid-40s sitting down at a small table. Her long red hair draped down her back. Her clothes seemed baggy, like they were 3 sizes too big. She was drawing a picture as she sat there in silence, not even noticing that I was in the room with her. Miss Sutton, do you mind talking to me about a few things from your past? I could really use your help to find my sister. I think the same demon that kidnapped you has also taken my sister. I softly said as I sat down on the bedside the small table she was sitting at. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's chapters. Chapters 6 and 7 will be out next week. And if you're interested in the story, the links are in the description. If you have a story you would like me to narrate, my email is also listed down below, as well as all the links to my social accounts. If you guys are interested in the products that I used, they are also listed in the description below. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!